afternoon to everyone. These are the presentation of Group 1, A Tale of China, the story of the magic brocade by Aaron Shepard. Once in China, there lived an old widow and her son, Chen. The widow was known all over for the brocades that she made on her loom. Carving threads of silver, gold, and colored silk into her clothes, she made pictures of flowers, birds, and animals. Pictures are real, they seem almost alive. People said there were no brocade finer than the ones of Widow Wu. One day, the widow took a pile of brocades to the marketplace, where she quickly sold them. Then she went about buying her household needs. All at once, she stopped. Oh my! Her eye had been caught by the beautiful paint scroll that hung in one of the stools. It showed a marvelous palace, all red and yellow and blue and green, reaching delicately to the sky. All around were fantastic gardens, and walking through them, the loveliest maidens. The stall-keeper asked, "Do you like it? It's a painting of Sun Palace. They say it lies far to the east and is the home of many fair ladies." "It's wonderful. It makes me want to be there." That it cost most of her money, the widow could not resist by dyeing the scroll. When she got back to her cottage, she showed it to her son. "Look, Chen, have you ever seen anything more beautiful? How I would love to live in that palace, or at least visit it." Chen looked at her truthfully. "Mother, why don't you weave the picture as a brocade? That would be almost like being there." "Why, Chen? What a marvelous idea. I'll start once." She set up her loom and began to weave. She worked for hours, then days, then weeks, barely stopping to eat or sleep. Her eyes great bloodshot and her fingers. "Mother, shouldn't you get more rest?" "Oh, Chen, it's so hard to stop while I weave. I feel like I'm there at Sun Palace, and I don't want to come away." Because the widow no longer wove brocades to sell, Chen cut firewood and sold that instead. Months went by, while each by each the pattern appeared on the loom. One day, Chen came in to find the loom empty and the widow sobbing. "What's wrong, Mother?" She looked at him tearfully. "I finished it." The brocade was laid out on the floor, and there it all was. The palace reaching to the sky, the beautiful gardens, the lovely fairy ladies. "It looks so real. I feel like I could step into it." Just sudden, with the weeping through a cottage, it leaped into the brocade. She blew without the widow and cooperated in the truth. The widow and her son rushed outside, only to watch the brocade disappear in the east. "It's gone." And the window fainted away. Shen carried her to her bed and sat beside her for many hours. At last, her eyes opened. "Chen, you must find the brocade and bring it back. I cannot live without it." "Don't worry, Mother. I'll go at once." Chen gathered a few things and started to the east. He walked for hours, then days, then weeks. There was no sign of the brocade. One day, Chen came upon a lonely hut. Sitting by the door was an old leather-skinning woman smoking a pipe. A horse was grazing near. "Hello, dearie. What brings you so far from home?" "I'm looking for my mother's brocade. The wind carried it to the east." "Ah, yes, the brocade of Sun Palace. Well, what wind was sent by the fairy ladies of the palace itself. They're using the brocade as a pattern for their weaving." "But my mother will die without it." "Well, then you had best get it back, but you won't get to Sun Palace by foot, so you'd better ride. My horse will show you the way." "Thank you." "Oh, don't thank me yet, dearie. Between here and there, you must pass through the flames of Fairy Mountain. If you make a single sound of complaint, you'll be burnt to ashes. After that, you must cross the icy sea, that smallest word of discontent, and you'll be frozen solid." "Do you still want to go?" "I must get back my mother's brocade." "Goodbye. Take the horse and go." Chen climbed on, and the horse broke into a gallop. Before long they came to a mountain all on fire. Without missing a step, the horse started up the slope, leaping towards the plains. Chen felt the fire sting his skin, but he bit his lip and made not a sound. At last they came down to other side. When they left the plains behind, Chen was surprised to find that his buns were gone. A little later, they came to a sea filled with great chunks of ice. Without passing a moment, she horse began leaping from one ice floe to another. Waves showered them with easy spray so that Chen was soaked and shivering, but he held his tongue and said not a word. Finally, they reached the far shore. At once, Chen felt himself dry and warm. It wasn't long then till they came to Sand Palace. It looked just like his mother brocade. He rode to the instant spring from the horse and hurried into a hog hole. Sitting there at looms were dozens of fairy ladies who turned to stare at him, then whispered to each other excitedly. On each loom was a copy of his mother brocade, and the brocade itself hung in the center of the room. A lady near the door rose from her loom to meet him. My name is Lian, and I welcome you. You are the first mortal ever to reach our palace. What good fortune brings you here? The fairy was so beautiful that for a moment Chen could only stare. Lian gazed shyly downward.
Dear lady, I have come for my mother's brocade.
So you are the widow's son. How we admire that brocade. None of us has been able to match it. We wish to keep it here till we can.
But I must bring it home, or my mother will die.
Lian looked alarmed, and a flurry of whisper arose in the room. She stepped away to speak softly with several others, then returned to Chen. We surely must not let that happen to her. Only let us keep the brocade for the rest of the day, so we can try to finish our own. Tomorrow you may take it back with you.
Thank you, dear lady.
The fairies worked busily to finish their brocade. Shen sat nearly in her loom. As he told her about his life in the human world, and she told him about hers its Sand Palace. Many smiles and glances passed between them. When darkness fell, the fairies worked on by the light of the magic press. At last, Chen's eyes would stay open no longer, and he deeper to sleep and on his chair. One day, when the fairy finished on her left, walked up and went out of the hall. Lian was the last one there, and it was almost done. When she was done, she cut her brocade from the loom and held it beside the window. Mine it good, but the widow's is still better. If only she could come and teach us herself. Then Lian had an idea. With neither the thread, she embroidered a small image on the window brocade, an image of herself on the palace steps. She softly said a spell, then she left the hall with a last long-smelling place at Chen. When Chen awoke, the sun was just rising. He looked around the hall for Lian, but saw no one, so he longed to find her to say goodbye, he told himself.
I must not waste a moment.
He rolled up his mother's brocade, rushes from the hole, and jumped it onto the horse. Back he raced across the Easy and over Fiery Mountain. When she reached the old woman's hut, she was standing there waiting for him. Here, Chen, your mother is dying. Put on these shoes, or you'll never get there in time. She put them on. One step, 2, 3, then he was racing over the countryside faster than he could believe possible. In no time, he was come. He rushed into the cottage. They found the widow in bed, pale and quiet.
Mother!
Her eyes opened slowly.
Chen? Mother, I brought it.
He unrolled the cloth onto the bed.
My brocade!
The widow raised herself to look colored. came back to her face and she seeming already strong.
Chen, I need more light. Let's take it outside.
He helped her out of the cottage and placed the brocade on a rock.
But just then a sudden wind came and the brocade rose slowly in the air.
It stretched as it rose, growing larger and larger, till it filled their view completely. The place was a large, as Chen himself had seen it as standing on the step was on Fairy Lady Lien. Quickly, while the wind still blooms, stepped into the brocade. For a moment, Chen was too astounded to move. Then he took hold of his mother's arm and together they stepped forward.
There was a shimmering and there they stood before Sun Palace.
Lien rushed up to them and the other fairies gathered around. He said to the widow, "Welcome, honored one. If it pleases you, we wish you to live with us and teach us the secrets of your craft."
Nothing could please me more. But Chen, is it all right with you?
Chen looked in Lien's eyes and smiled.
Yes, mother. It's just fine with me.
So, the widow became teacher to the fairies.
And she became husband to Lien.
And people say there are no brocade sinners. The ones they wave at Sun Palace.